Don't know ball.
The other two games I got wrong were Chargers Cowboys,
Which I call yo. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm so proud of
I
myself for
called.
calling it the
Steelers
I
way that I
said
did.
and
the Chargers were going to win that game. Why would you pick Dallas when they've been eliminated? Makes no sense.
Steelers Lions, and then Packers Bears. But all the rest of the games this week I got correct.
I was shocked about the Lions though. But I did say that the Steelers were gonna come to play.
Yeah, I would say the Lions. The Lions losing was the biggest surprise this week.
That did
100%.
shock me.
Yeah, that was definitely a huge surprise. So in terms
Let's
of
go
that,
into that game.
why don't we break into that one? Steelers Lions. I predicted it to be Lions 28-23. The Steelers come out on top 29-24, and this game was nuts. Jalen Warren had a monster day. He had two late breakaway touchdowns that gave the Steelers a pretty hefty lead. The Lions were down 29-17 late after he put up his second one. And then the Lions come all the way back in this one, and the score is 29-24, and they get to the goal line. It's fourth down with 8 seconds left, and he throws it short to Amon-Ra, who is like a few inches out of the end zone. So he's short, but it gets popped in the air, and it goes into the hands of Goff, who runs it in for a touchdown. But there's a flag on the play, and it's offensive pass interference on Amon-Ra St. Brown. So it is ruled a touchdown, but it's does not count because there was an offensive penalty, and an offensive penalty cannot extend the game, so the game ended. And it was at Lions Stadium, and listening to the fans, react to all that was just absolutely crazy. And my reaction overall was, with all the chaos in the AFC, where I've really tried to nail down who I think the best team in the AFC is all season, and I've just struggled. We've all, I think, had the Patriots up there at one point, and I've had the Broncos up here.
Wrong.
But I don't feel great about any of them either, because the Jaguars look so good. And it just got me thinking, in this AFC chaos, can Aaron Rodgers finish on top with a Super Bowl in the last year of his career? Because I said if they won this game, I could believe it. So what do you guys think?
I think there's two things I got. I think it was just really, not to start it off, it's really just disappointing the Lions couldn't capitalize on Green Bay losing. It's like a wash now because they dropped this game. But number two is, like, where was the offensive balance for the Lions today? We got Jared Goff throwing the ball 54 times, and they ran the ball 11 times. How ridiculous is that? How are they not running the ball when you got Jahmyr Gibbs had 7 carries today for 2 yards?
Wow, they were stuffing.
Yeah,
them.
Montgomery had 4 for 14. I just don't understand why they're not running the ball more. I get they have their O-line injuries and whatnot, but come on, you got to have balance as an NFL offense.
They did use Gibbs through the air, 10 for 66 and a touchdown.
I like how they do that. It's just like you gotta run the ball more if you want to be a successful offense. If you want to be a successful offense,
it's almost like you know what kind of play they're gonna run based on what running back's gonna be out there.
They're trying to get Gibbs in space. Is what they're trying to do.
Yeah, and I agree. They should be running the ball, and every game he doesn't have 100 yards and 3 touchdowns, they lose. And it seems like,
seven this year.
I think that's part of the problem with the Lions is what's happening when Gibbs isn't doing that is you have Goff throwing the ball like 40 or 50 times, and I think Goff is good today. I think he's good, but and even at the end he did quite literally everything he could to give them a chance to win, and it's just. I think if he's able to kind of pick up the slack, when the run game is getting kind of bottled up, to kind of be an extra threat in the run game, or, be more of a scrambler, even though that last play was kind of like that. You understand what I'm saying? I just feel like it's just it's like a whole element of the offense, though, that's not there. Well, yeah, I did say, that's why I prefer Dart over the more pocket passing, Mendoza, with what I know from Dart right now. If there were prospects at the same time, it would be a question for sure. Who
I would take Mendoza.
Yeah,
the NFL side.
Colin Cowherd-esque take. I heard him say that was his main reason for wanting to do the trade. He said because he's 6'5", and I'm like, bro,
yeah,
who's not 6'5"? Patrick Mahomes, and he's the best quarterback in the whole NFL.
Okay, but if his name was Arch Manning and not Fernando Mendoza, would you take him? You would 100% trade Dart.
Where did that come from? Where did Arch Manning come from? I'm happy with Jackson Dart. Let's stay. Wait, hold on. We got to redirect because we already talked about this. So the Steelers, to me, I think with the way the AFC is right now, all these teams are going to be there, deep in the playoffs for the first time. The Jaguars they've never been past the divisional round. The Broncos have never made the divisional round with Bo Nix and Sean Payton. The Patriots, this is their first year making the playoffs. And those are the three teams that would be seated ahead of them. So they would have a home game against, say, Chargers, Bills, and Texans. And I was just really thinking, like, there is no reason why they can't be the team that wins the 4 games if that's what it takes for them. And I thought it was interesting to bring up because I do think Aaron Rodgers is playing, a little better and better every week. And I just thought, him and Jaylen Warren were a big reason why they won today. So definitely disappointing for the Lions, but I'm